Greetings, greetings, greetings. Back to nature, Africa. Back to nature, community. Back to nature, family. Welcome to another fantastic, beautiful episode right here in the Garden of Paradise, aka also known as Back to Nature Organic Farms. I want to say it's always a pleasure and a joy to come and talk to the community, come and talk to the family, and bring you, further chronicles and documenting this journey and adventure that we continue to engage here on the farm and producing high quality, healthy, scrumptious, wholesome food, especially in the day and age where we're living through some very interesting times, and they're talking about how food is becoming so scarce and food prices are going through the roof, and getting a chance to engage it, whether you're here on a farm or in your own farm or kitchen garden, or just observing by watching these particular videos. By the way, don't hesitate, like, comment, share. We always invite you to sort of engage and interact with us as we, go through this process. But like I was mentioning, it's very interesting times we're living through and becoming much more proximate with food and not simply relying on a supermarket or on a bodega or convenience store or corner store, but really learning first psychologically, mentally, just being acclimated and getting a little bit more familiar with how food is produced, the soil, the water, the air, the sunlight, right? And all these elements of nature that are there so that we can have sovereignty or sovereignty. Many people pronounce that word so many different ways, but food security, right? And not have to leave it to countries that might end up in wars or, boats that might get stuck in the, sea, or trucks coming from, hundreds of miles or kilometers away. But how, if you had to get your hands a little dirty, how can we produce a little bit of food yourself? So with that, let's get into today's episode. It's a wonderful episode. We're going to be sharing some very empowering, enlightening, very dynamic information that's very relevant to food production, particularly with what we're doing here, being an integrated farm, an intercropped farm, but at the core is an avocado orchard. So we're going to be talking about something super important when it comes to permaculture, or permanent, trees, fruit trees, and what must be done at certain particular point in time during this different seasons. So, who are we and what we do? You guys know we are back to nature, back to nature. We believe the closer we are to nature, the more whole, happy, at peace, at ease we are with our lives, by the way. A greater serenity, a greater tranquility, a greater peace, joy, and happiness. The closer we are to nature, the further we get away from nature, the more we come denatured, the more we move into artificial living, fake lifestyle, fake news, fake this, fake that. We lose that connection, that synchronicity, that ability to be in harmony with nature, and we get into a place of dis-ease, the root word of disease. And so we encourage, motivate, inspire Kenyans, Africans, and beyond, all humanity, to adopt more natural, holistic lifestyle approaches for maintaining health. If you're healthy, nothing you want to do more than maintain it. Or if you're unhealthy, how to regain your health. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with our particular episode. And what are we going to be talking about here today? We are going to be talking about, like I mentioned, something super duper important when it comes down to the maintenance of an orchard. We just went through harvest season. So either the video before this one or after this one, you're going to see us in a little bit of a celebratory mood and mode because it was harvest season. We worked so hard for the last couple of years bringing these avocado trees up, and we finally got our first real harvest, and you see the process that went into that. But since we've harvested now about 85% of the trees, because it looks like it's going to be a bumper harvest, this is where you can get 2 or 3 times harvesting. So some of our trees still have some fruits that will be ready in 4 weeks and 6 weeks, etc. But for the ones that have been harvested, we're going to talk about pruning today. The importance of pruning, the relevance of pruning. That when you have a tree and you have an orchard, just like whether it's a child or you're raising anything you're raising, there is a tender loving care. You've heard me talk about TLC before, but this now is going to be talking about sort of how do we grow the tree and how do we encourage it to grow, and what is a relevance. Just like sometimes for us guys, we still have some hair. We'll occasionally have to go to the barber shop and get a shape up and clippers, etc. So the same thing with trees, and it adds to the health of the tree, so the tree can be much more dynamic, where it can send the energy and the water within the tree, etc. So we're going to talk about that, going to dive into pruning, and we're going to get actually into some of the pruning of a tree or two here on this episode, so you can see and have a chance to do that. So actually I think the tree that we'll be pruning is right here, but let me go and join our farm manager extraordinaire, who you guys have seen a couple of times here on our particular channel. So he's on the farm here with us today, and we're going to dive into this idea of pruning. So let me grab the camera off the tripod here, and let's head to the section of the farm where we have the pruning that is taking place. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, actually you'll see here some pruning that has been already going on. Here I believe we're in phase 2, block C of the farm. We always sort of try to locate where the water tower is to give us a location. And so you'll see some pruning that has happened here, and we'll move through, and I believe we might have Mr. Mungai at this section of the farm. Greetings, greetings, greetings.
Greetings everyone.
Yes, how are you doing today, Mr. Mungai?
Not bad.
Excellent. Well, the family has seen you several times here. We've gone through several different elements of farm production. I believe sometime last year we even went into sort of harvesting scions from trees and how to go to the grafting, etc. But today we're going to talk about a very interesting, and with those tools in your hand, an interesting process that we're going to engage into here today. So let's go ahead and get started. What are you holding in your hands, and what are those tools for?
To start with, I have a roll cut. This is called a roll cut.
A roll cut?
Used in pruning.
Used in pruning?
This is a pruning saw.
A pruning saw?
As well used in pruning.
Okay. Well, right before we go into the demonstration, yeah, can you speak a little bit about the importance and the relevance of pruning when it comes to particularly fruit trees, about how to groom the tree in terms of the direction that you would like it to grow, or the height that you would like to keep it, etc., etc. So what, of all the years you've been in this business and agronomy, as an agronomist, farm manager, etc., what is the benefits for and why do we prune?
Yeah, to start with, pruning is the removal of unwanted branches of a tree.
Okay.
Unwanted in the sense that First of all, why we prune when the tree has become dense. When the vegetation is so dense,
Okay.
like this one has already been done,
Okay.
we remove those unwanted branches,
Okay.
one, to maximize production.
Maximize production. So, well, the question might beg itself that if you're going to cut big branches such as this that has been pruned, isn't that taking away? Aren't you going to get less fruits? How can you maximize production if you're taking big branches like that off the tree?
We are maximizing production,
Okay.
because darkness
Oh.
does more harm than this density.
So the density blocks the sunlight.
Blocks the sunlight. There is no way a fruit can grow well in a shaded environment.
Ah, so even if it's less dense, however, because of the sunlight and how vegetables and trees and vegetation love sunlight, the production will be increased more.
More flowering,
Yes?
more fruiting, a very good fruit set,
Yes.
very good fruit expansion,
Hmm.
and very quality fruit.
Fruits.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so it gets to maximize also how the water is distributed in the plant, where the nutrients are sent, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, very good. So when now you're pruning, you do use these tools.
Yeah.
One, I believe, is for maybe the smaller, and the other saw is for the larger one.
Yeah, this one, roll cut, is for the smaller branches.
Okay, let me just show that. Okay.
Smaller branches,
Yes.
the work of roll cut.
Okay.
For the pruning saw,
Yes.
we use a little bit thick stem.
Okay.
We just cut using
Cut through. Oh, so that's what you use to cut this particular. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So this tree here has been pruned. It has been opened up to allow sunlight to penetrate and come in to help the health of the tree.
Yeah.
All right. So you would like to move maybe to a tree that is here in the farm that we can then have a chance to demonstrate.
And whenever we are pruning,
Yes.
we give the tree
Okay.
a certain shape, like the one we have here.
Okay.
We would like to give that shape.
Ah. So in a sense,
Pyramidal shape.
it's a sense as if in a pyramid.
Pyramid.
And there are different ways that you can shape the tree and groom the tree that can then also enhance the production. And particularly when we have high density in terms of growing here, 5 by 5 meters, you want to make sure that you're able to direct the trees in the right way to grow.
Yeah, the best shape.
The best shape.
Pyramidal shape gives the best production.
The best production.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So let's go and have a demonstration. And let's pick out one of the trees that we can demonstrate how to go about this very important practice of pruning. And by the way, we're at a certain time where we just went through a harvest here.
Okay.
I think the sunlight is there. Let me come on this side. So you can probably come on even on this side of the tree. Okay. And is it preferable to prune a tree before harvest, after harvest? When would you recommend pruning should be done? Should it be done in the first year, second year? And then how often should a tree be pruned? Should it be once a year, twice a year? So maybe give me a little insights into that.
So in a given year, we have two crops.
Okay.
We have major season.
Okay.
And the off season. Pruning should be done after every harvest. Whether you are after your main season harvest,
yes,
you do a pruning. After an off-season harvest,
yes,
you have another pruning.
Another pruning.
And you don't prune when the fruits are there, because you are going to expose them to the sunburn.
The sunburn. Okay, okay. So after every harvest is when is recommended you prune, and then gives the particular tree the whole year to recover, to get healthy and produce. Okay. So we have a tree here that's relatively full, that is relatively actually is done very good and becomes quite dynamic, but obviously needs a little bit of pruning. So if you don't mind, Mr. Mugai, sort of demonstrate how do we go about assessing what needs to be pruned, even though I do see a few fruits there. So I'm sure this is one that will have a few fruits that will be ready maybe in 4 weeks or so. But could be a good tree that we could demonstrate pruning. So if you don't mind, take it away and sort of let us know the process.
So we are going to start by removing the branches which are touching the ground. Because we don't want them to produce flowers and eventually produce fruits which will touch
the ground.
Why
is that? I've heard that when you have branches and leaves that are touching the ground, it exposes it to certain diseases as well. When the raindrops come, they splash. So if you don't mind,
of bacterial diseases will spread in the tree
so
through that branch which is touching the ground.
So at all costs, you want to remove any particular branches or leaves that may be closer touching the ground.
Another reason why we remove all these these branches touching the ground. Fruits which are touching the ground are more susceptible to force codling moth attack.
FCM, false coding moths. And I know we had some of that here on the farm last year, and that's something that is not very nice. And so, yes, importance of pruning, bring them off the ground.
A fruit which has been attacked by a force codling moth, you cannot market it.
It's pretty much...
It cannot go to the export market. Neither can it be sold in the local market.
We just fed it to the dogs here, and they were munching on it, loving the avocados. Okay, great. So let's go into a practical.
So we start by cutting the branches which are touching the ground. We try to save that fruit.
Okay.
Around. This we go around through.
Okay.
We have some fruits here. You
them
preserve them.
While hiding.
Preserve them.
Okay.
Also make sure you don't expose them to the direct sunlight.
Direct sunlight, okay.
So you leave a bit of some branches here, just to cover them.
So this is almost like going to a barber shop and getting a haircut. And
a small fruit you can preserve.
Okay. You know, it's so interesting to be here and to see how these trees have grown, because remember when they were seedlings and they were so young, so small, and I believe that you were here and present with us when we were putting them into the ground.
Yes.
And to see how Mother Nature works and how they have grown and how they have developed. And it's just something truly amazing. Just within the last 2.5 to 3 years, that now they're even ready for pruning. And I can see the benefit and the relevance because it was very bushy as we were just starting, but seeing how it's opening up and getting a chance to allow the sunlight.
Now we open up inside.
Okay.
Concentrate more on the upper side,
Okay.
just to allow sunlight to penetrate.
Okay. Oh, trees are big enough now that you can even climb up into the tree.
Now you use your pruning saw.
Okay, now comes the pruning saw.
We don't want our trees to grow vertically. We just encourage lateral growth.
Lateral growth.
So this one we chop here. After chopping here, we have opened up. Let me just first of all chop.
Okay. Wow.
We have created an open space
Okay.
where sun will penetrate right at the center of the tree. And this will encourage lateral growth
Okay.
as opposed to vertical
growing
growth.
vertical, going up.
Yeah. This cutting that one will give this one a lot of strength
Yes.
to grow laterally.
Very
It will
good.
also give this one some strength to grow laterally.
Laterally.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's why we have chopped there.
Okay.
We also need to chop this one, which is growing
Vertically.
vertically,
Okay.
so that we can encourage the vertical growth. No, the lateral growth.
Lateral growth.
Yeah, so we have to chop that one.
Okay, very good. Let's see here, climbing up and into the tree. That's how these
This
trees
one
have
is-
grown.
This will encourage this one to grow.
Okay, oh, it will encourage which ones now?
These branches,
Yes,
they will grow laterally.
laterally.
Even this one
Ah,
will grow, producing.
yes.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. And then it lets the sunlight come in directly
Yeah.
from the top
Yeah.
and be able to feed the rest of the trees. Okay, very well. Now, for one such as this, it seems to be growing laterally,
Yeah. But at
Um,
the ground.
but it's closer to the ground.
Yeah, I think this one,
Yes,
it only has one fruit.
yes.
It should be removed. At times we sacrifice. We remove a branch with one fruit.
Okay.
This one.
Yes, but in the longer run, it's going to save the
It
tree.
was already touching the ground,
Yes.
and you can see already it has some defects.
Ah,
So sacrificing this one
yes.
won't do
Too much.
any harm.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So this is really given the
bit-
tree.
A bit of opening here needs to be done.
Okay.
All these intertwining branches
Okay.
need to be opened up. we are done.
Wow. Okay. So pruning, and let's walk where we had started from in terms of the recording here today.
Yeah.
And seeing a big difference here with this tree. And let me ask you, Mr. Mungai, if pruning is not done, as we've seen here today, and also brought down some of the height of the tree so you can encourage lateral growth.
Yeah.
Other than just the, the leaves that are touching the ground, the branches touching the ground, what else would you say that is affected if this is not done every harvest? And if you have a harvest twice a year, long and short, etc. So as we close out today's particular video, just touch on maybe if you don't do this, what are the side effects?
Yeah, avocado tree can grow to a very big tree. So if you don't keep on controlling its height, it will grow high, very high.
Yes.
Pruning will not be done easily when the tree is already.
Including harvesting will be.
Harvesting will it can even be impossible.
To harvest some of those fruits that are way up there.
Because when you are harvesting for export, you have to pick the fruit using your hand.
Correct.
In a big tree with long branches, you cannot reach all the fruits with your hands.
Yes.
So that's one of the essence of controlling the height.
The heights.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
So
another one.
Yes.
When you just let your tree become bushy, when we are spraying our organic foliars, they will not be able to penetrate inside. So coverage will not be very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Mungai. I know we have so many more trees here to go in this particular sections of the farm. As you guys can see, I'm panning that way, and all these other trees here that need to be pruned. And we just wanted to have a chance to talk about pruning on today's episode, and how important pruning is when it comes down to maintaining an orchard, being able to grow and groom the most healthy trees that will give the most luscious, scrumptious, wholesome fruits and food, and get a chance to practice good hygiene. You might have heard of those in the agricultural space, might have heard of Global Gap, what they call good agricultural practices, etc. And just a way of maintaining, a healthy farm in that regards. And so that's what we wanted to talk about in today's episode. May the force of nature always be with you. Don't hesitate to take a few steps to nature, because nature will come so much closer to you. Thank you for continuing to be part of this Back to Nature family, Back to Nature community. And don't hesitate to like, comment, share this particular video. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family and join the community. And with that, peace out. God bless. Have a fantastic day. Oh, last message. Don't forget, guys, if you still have a little bit of hair on your head, go and get a prune haircut. You'll feel fresh, like the tree is feeling really fresh right now. In that regards, right? Right, Dr. Guy? Yeah. All right, peace out, guys. Okay.